My name is Sarah Marsh, and I'm going to start by saying 5 things that I love about Fayetteville. I love riding my bike on our multi-use trail system. I love seeing everyone in town and buying farm fresh produce at our farmers market. I love learning new things at the Fayetteville Public Library. I love the beauty of our natural environment. There's nothing like living in a Tree City, USA in the fall. But most of all, I love our people. From the diehard Razorback fans to the commuting Walmartians and the students and the hippies and the weirdos, Fayetteville is a city for everyone. And our diversity is what makes us strong. If this is the Fayetteville that you love, then I am your candidate. My name is Sarah Marsh, and I was first elected to the Fayetteville City Council in 2012. I'm also a 16-year resident of Fayetteville. During my tenure on the council, we've accomplished some amazing things. Some of the relevant ones in Ward 1 are preserving Kessler Mountain and building phase 1 of our regional park. We built the Rupel Road extension, which is almost complete. We passed the urban ag ordinance and planted a community orchard at Yvonne Richardson Center. We expanded mobile vending to welcome more food trucks. We made facility improvements at Walker Park, the Yvonne Richardson Center, the Senior Center, and the airport. We've committed $1 million to attainable housing in the Walker Park area. We've cleaned up abandoned and derelict properties. We've strengthened our stormwater regulations to reduce flooding in neighborhoods. We've created the first energy improvement district in the state. We've tripled funding for sidewalks and trails. And we've improved police and fire protection. And we've done all this with a balanced budget and a healthy reserve. We've also developed a series of long-range master plans to help us manage our growth, our economy, our waste stream, and our transportation infrastructure. And I'm asking for you to re-elect me so that we can implement these plans and get the job done. My focus area for the next 4 years will be in 3 specific areas. One is responsible growth management. I want to leverage this period of exponential growth to build out our citizens' vision in the 2030 city plan. I want to grow a robust economy that serves everyone, that raises wages, and gives our workforce buying power. And we're going to do that by implementing our Fayetteville First plan. And I want to build a resilient community, and this is about caring for our citizens and our environment. If you like living in the #1 affordable city in America, then re-elect me so I can keep making Fayetteville first and keep us moving forward.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here tonight. My name is Matthew Petty. I currently represent citizens of Ward 2, and I'm serving my 8th year on the City Council. I took service in 2009. I think anybody that wants to replace one of us on the City Council or replace our mayor needs to make a better case for ending the leadership that we've already had, because the Fayetteville that I know and love today is a Fayetteville that is on a tremendous trajectory for the future. I'm very proud of the way Fayetteville is growing. I'm very proud of the direction that we're heading in. A few of the things we've done in the past 4 years with regards to infrastructure, we've spent more than $32 million on roads and on sidewalks. In the past 8 years, we've built more than 17 new miles of trail. We preserved more than 300 acres of Mount Kessler Regional Park, something that generations upon generations of our citizens will be able to enjoy. That's quite literally something that will impact this city for centuries. We did something similar with Gully Park, where we bought 11 new acres, and now there's a teaching farm there. The list really does go on, and I think you're going to hear a lot about that, and you've already heard a lot about that from some of the others. What I want to point out is that when it comes to Ward 2, everybody in the city owns a piece of Ward 2, really everybody in the region. Ward 2 has the university, it has Dixon Street, it has the high school. If you come to visit Fayetteville from somewhere else, chances are you spend your time in Ward 2. There are lots of neighborhoods in Ward 2, from downtown to midtown, from the historic district, and I am excited about what we've done and I'm eager to do more. What I'm going to focus on, and I'll tell you more about tonight, are four themes: transportation, continued transportation investments, restoring the ability for people to develop our city in a more traditional pattern, focused on events development so that we can have more successes like the Fayetteville Roots Festival, which help define the brand for our city to outsiders, and the creation of more public space. I think we need a signature public space in downtown, and every neighborhood throughout the city needs to have some place they can walk to enjoy.
Hello everyone. My name is Ben Harrison. I'm running for City Council in Ward 3. I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight. It's really incredible that there are so many faces in this room right now. It just shows how dedicated you all are to the city, and I hope to be as dedicated as the Ward 3 alderman. If you are from Ward 3, you've lucked out. All three of the candidates running are here, which is not the case for the rest of the wards, unfortunately. My name is Ben Harrison. I've lived here 21 years, all 21 years. I decided to run a year ago with one thought in mind: give back to Fayetteville all Fayetteville has given to me. This town, anyone that grew up in this town knows that Fayetteville becomes a part of you. Fayetteville makes you who you are. I like to think all my successes in life come from me being born where I was born. It's a really cool thing to say. I don't think a lot of people in the rest of the nation can say that. When I decided to run, I thought, what makes Fayetteville different? You know, I've been to a lot of places in the world. The streets are paved the same, the building looks relatively the same. The people are predominantly the same. I circled back around and I thought, what makes Fayetteville different is its story. We have a story here in town of compassion and inclusion, of entertainment, of leisure, and of hard work. We have an opportunity, everyone here, everyone out there, everyone in the rest of the city, we have an opportunity on November 8th to walk into a room with empty pages in front of us and a pen in our hand and write the next chapter in Fayetteville's story. Let's be sure we make it a good one.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Sarah Bunch, and I'm running for City Council, Ward 3. A little bit about me. I'm from this area, grew up here, lived here my whole life, graduated from Fayetteville High School, and attended the University of Arkansas. After I graduated from the U of A, I became a banker. So I worked a long time in the banking and financial industry, and I was a lender and a financial planner as well. For the past 15 years, though, I've been a realtor in Northwest Arkansas, and I work with Keller Williams Market Pro Realty in Fayetteville. Excuse me. I've served 6 years on the Fayetteville Planning Commission, and during that time, I was secretary of the Planning Commission for 2 terms and chair of the Planning Commission for 1 term. As a businesswoman in Northwest Arkansas, I've seen many of the changes and challenges that our city faces. In my lifetime, I have picked up some really good skills that I think would be beneficial on City Council. Management, budgeting, negotiation, but the thing that I'm most proud of and the thing that I most love in my life is my ability to work with people. I love working with people. I enjoy people, and it's something that's required of me as a real estate agent. I love listening to people. I listen well, I analyze a situation, and I come up with a solution. And I think that that's the kind of people we need on City Council. That's who we need representing our city. And I'm hoping that you will vote for me in November. I'm not hoping you vote for me, I'm expecting you to vote for me, but I want to earn your vote. And thank you very much for your time. Thanks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tracy Hoskins. I also am a native of Fayetteville. I've been here for 52 years. Of those 52 years, I've spent 32 of those years, all my adult life, living in Ward 3. I'm also an alum of Fayetteville High School. After high school, I became a self-employed person who I've started several businesses in Fayetteville, employed a lot of people in Fayetteville, particularly kids. My wife and I own a company called the Paradigm Companies. The Paradigm Companies, and under that umbrella are places, are local businesses like Maggie Moo's Ice Cream, Great American Cookie Company, Southern Law Furniture, and a design and build company, Paradigm Development. All of these businesses are Fayetteville businesses. Okay, we've had opportunities to open businesses in other places. We've always stuck with Fayetteville, and we will continue to do so. My wife and I, through our various businesses, we're big supporters of police and fire, the Parks and Rec Department, and we do these through sponsorships or what have you. And I'm also a Fast Pitch youth girls Fast Pitch softball coach. I've done that for many, many years. I am currently serving my seventh year in the Planning Commission, and as Sarah said before, I also serve a term as chairman. At the end of this year, I will turn out and I'm no longer eligible to continue with the Planning Commission, so this is my next step in public service to the city that raised me. And so we've got a lot of issues to get into, and I look forward to addressing a lot of the issues, and I hope to earn your vote between now and November. Thank you.
Well, good evening. My name is Nathan Allen. I'm a candidate for Ward 4, Alderman in Fayetteville. I want to say also thank you, everyone, for being here. I know our current political climate nationally is pretty nasty. So for you guys just to take a passion in local politics, I think is really important. I want to thank you all for being here tonight. I was raised in Arkansas, son of a pastor's kid in Fayetteville. I graduated from West Fork High School, went to the University of Arkansas, where I was a math scout for the University of Arkansas. So I lived 3 years as a giant inflatable pig. So no one can deny my heart for the Hogs, but also I grew a heart for Fayetteville. I'm a pastor at New Heights Church in Fayetteville, living on the west side of town. We meet at the Boys and Girls Club, and I'm the pastor of Young Professionals. Northwest Arkansas is the 6th fastest growing young professional population in America. And so our church said, hey, we need to try to reach these people and plug them into our community, and that's my job. And I've loved doing that for the last 2 years. I've been married for just over 1 year. My wife Holly and I asked her, hey, do you want to come to this political event? She said, no, actually, I'd rather walk around like Fayetteville. We both, that's something we really enjoy. We love this town. Despite she moved here for work, working for Health South Rehab Hospital, and we met through church, and she, despite her family's efforts to get us to move back to Indiana, we love Fayetteville, we're going to stay here. And I love people. I love serving people. It's my job as a minister, and I want to continue and develop that role as I serve our city in a greater role. New Heights Church, our motto is to love God passionately and love people tangibly. And so I want to do that by serving as Ward 4 Alderman in the City Council. I'm not a politician. This person never done anything like this before. And it's been fun and exciting, and I'm learning a lot, and I'm excited to be a part of this and work with the future of Fayetteville to help us become, like Rep. George said, #1 in the nation. So thank you very much.
Okay. We'll start with you, Mr. Allen. All the wards are very distinctive. And so would each one of you discuss one issue that is the most pressing in your ward?
That's huge. Ward 4 is a big ward. If I had to pick one, there's a lot of issues. If I had to pick one issue, I think it would have to be growth and development. There's a lot of land in Ward 4 that people want to develop and grow, a lot of new houses being built, a lot of areas where people want to build houses, and been struggling for years to do that. And there's a lot of regulation and infrastructure problems to do that. I want to help Ward 4 as we grow and develop, provide the infrastructure we need so we can grow. There's a lot of people that I've spoken with personally throughout running my campaign who are trying to develop and build in Ward 4, and it's been quite a difficult task for them. And I'd like to see our city be able to help developers and builders and small business people to grow and to build what they want to do. And I find that it's disheartening when developments and housing projects get repeatedly shut down. I love that our city is environmentally friendly and that we want to protect our environment. I love that we have regulations to help protect our infrastructure and protect our rivers and streams. However, sometimes I think it goes a little too far. And when you're telling property owners what they can or cannot do with their own property, I feel that infringes on liberty. And I think that as long as I just want to see less regulation in our city and more common sense.
Just one? Okay. think the biggest challenge facing us right now is we need to grow our city. We are the third best place to live. However, I don't think we rank nearly that high on being the best place to start a business. I was actually very surprised to hear the statistic I heard earlier in the mayoral debate that there's one new business a day started in Fayetteville. I think you have to be very, very careful with statistics, okay? Just because somebody registers a business on the city website, or somebody starts a business out in their garage, or somebody registers an LLC with the Secretary of State, doesn't mean that they're starting a viable business in Fayetteville. If we are, in fact, registering one business a day that's a viable tax-paying business in Fayetteville, I'd like to know what buildings they're doing here, because we don't have a whole lot of commercial growth. And one of the things that concerns me is that if we do not expand our tax base, okay, we're soon destined to become a bedroom community where few people can afford the bedrooms. I believe that one of our most critical things is that we need to expand our commercial tax base. Okay, we need more people, more businesses paying into the coffers instead of continually raising taxes on property, etc. We get more people coming back to Fayetteville to shop. Stop some of the exodus of shopping going north, because it is happening. It's definitely happening. And so with growth, comes income. And with income comes prosperity. With prosperity becomes quality of life. And so I think that's one of the things that we need to focus on for the next 4 years.
Well, it's really hard to pick just one thing, because the way I look at it, there are several things that kind of go together. But I would have to say that what we want to try to do in Fayetteville, and it's a challenge in Ward 3, is to maintain the quality of life that everyone has there. And to do that, like Commissioner Hoskins said, we're going to need to grow some. But we also need to have affordable housing for people. We need a variety of housing to meet the needs of the people who want to live here. You heard the statistic earlier that Fayetteville is the fastest growing city in the state of Arkansas, and projections are that we might grow as much as 40% in the next 20 years. So in addition to business growth, we also need residential growth. I see firsthand the challenges people face every day as a real estate agent. I see this, how hard it is for people to find affordable housing and in areas that they want to live in, the school that they want to go to, or where they want their children to go, and with the amenities that they'd like to have. So I think that's very important that we continue with our residential growth as well. That means we need different types of housing. Just like we have a variety of people who will choose to live in Fayetteville, all of you are different, you all live here, and we have a variety of people who want to live here and want to move here. We have a university that's growing by leaps and bounds, so that means we need student housing. We also need housing to meet the needs of millennials and young people who don't want to live like I do in the subdivision with the quarter-acre lot. We have a lot of seniors that want to live here. Some of those people need maybe smaller houses on smaller lots, that sort of thing. So we have a variety of residential needs that need to be met. And I think that's a big, important thing that we need to face in Fayetteville and Ward 3 in particular. Thank you.
Ward 3 is a really great place to live. If any of you live there, you know that. It's not the best place to walk. Walkability is a big challenge for Ward 3. I know, because right now I'm walking around to all of your houses and bothering you and knocking on your door and giving you my vision for Fayetteville. But as I walk around, I'll walk 100 yards and then have to cross the street to the other sidewalk, and then walk 100 yards and then there's no sidewalk, and walk in the grass. I'm 21, that's pretty easy for me to do. A lot of people that live in Ward 3 are elderly or have small children, families. I would imagine it's harder for them to do. Walkability is a factor in all of the best cities in the world. You look at Paris or New York or Chicago or Milan, all these giant, lovely, vast cities. You can walk everywhere. It's a great thing about Ward 2. If you are on Block Street, you can walk anywhere you need that's not a hospital. Seeing that sort of infrastructure shot in the arm of Ward 3 would be lovely.
What a great question, a hard question. There's so many things that we could work on, so many things we've been working on. I wish that we could have more progress than we have. For me, there's one, I think, concept that starts to link all these issues together, and that's connecting the neighborhoods we already have in Ward 2. Ward 2 has some of the oldest neighborhoods in town, but they're not very well connected to one another unless you are in downtown proper. Fortunately, if we start to think about this holistically, we start to think about our transportation issues and our need for new housing in the neighborhoods we already have, and our vacant lots, and so on and so forth, we can start to link these things together into a cohesive strategy. And for me, that the nexus of all those things is connecting the neighborhoods we already have. And here's what I mean by this. What you've heard tonight is right. Fayetteville's growing. We have a lot of growing to do. If we keep growing at the rate that we are, we're going to need a minimum of 20,000 new dwelling units in the next 20 years. And when I first learned that number, I was staggered by it, but I went back and checked the math. And this is easy math. If you go to the census website, this is middle school math. 20,000 units minimum, and you start to think, where are we going to put those? And then you look at places like College Avenue, which is such a terrible problem to fix, or any of our other arterials that are such difficult problems to fix. If you look at those, you start to notice that, well, College Avenue, for example, is more than 70% parking lots. Not buildings, parking lots. That's a predominant land use of the street, which means that it's not generating tax revenue for us, it's not connecting our neighborhoods, it's not providing places for people to live or to work. Despite the fact that there are 14,000 jobs within a mile of college and 40% of the people live within it. So if we can start to talk about how we fill in these gaps, the vacant lots, the parking lots, with housing and places to work, if we can start to talk about, for example, how we can connect Midtown and our other neighborhoods with trails, I think we start to get to solving all of the most pressing issues.
My name is Sarah Marsh, and I'm running for re-election in Ward 1. I would say the most pressing issue in Ward 1 has got to be the economy. The vast majority of Ward 1 is south of MLK, where average household income is less than $25,000 a year. In Washington County, 1 in 4 adults is food insecure, and 1 in 3 children are food insecure. And a recent study showed that residents of Northwest Arkansas are spending more on transportation than they are on housing. So what are we going to do to fix this? Well, it starts with sensible transportation planning, which right now we have a transportation master plan in the works in our transportation committee, which I'm hoping will prioritize alternatives to single occupancy vehicles. Then the next component of that is building attainable housing. We've just committed $1 million in infrastructure improvement to build 77 units of attainable housing in the Walker Park neighborhood. We also need to revise our development codes to provide a greater diversity in housing to fit a greater diversity of household types. And then we need to hit the economy hard. And so we've adopted the Fayetteville First Economic Development Plan, and it starts by retaining our existing businesses. In Ward 1, we have over 3,000 people a day going to work at the Commerce District, and we need to take care of those manufacturers as well as recruit new businesses. We need to revitalize our main streets. I've started Energize Southside, which is a group that we're working to revitalize our South School Business Corridor, and we're about to award a $1,000 matching grant to El Camino Real for constructing a trailside patio and helping revitalize that area. We're going to become the startup capital of the South, so we are going to be a great place to start a business. We've contracted with Startup Junkie to help entrepreneurs set up shop and get rolling. And in order to test that, I'm actually starting my own business down in MLK. As to where new businesses are getting space, I'm at 643 West MLK Suite 202. I make custom clothing for people of dynamic dimensions, and it is my goal to create living wage garment industry jobs in this city.
Mr. Matthew, I need to repeat the question for you since you came in.
Pardon?
The question, I can repeat the question for you.
That'd be awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
The question was, since the boards are so diverse, would you please address one pressing issue that you see in your ward?
First, let me introduce myself. My name is Paul Fan. I am running for Alderman in Ward 1. And, well, Ward 1 is occupying the entire south of Fayetteville, so it's an enormous ward. And walking is not a problem. Just thumb actually in Ward 1. But when I look at Fayetteville, I think in terms of, and by the way, I apologize for being late. It's because I did not receive an invitation. It was sent through Facebook Messenger, and I don't normally communicate through Facebook Messenger. However, the problem with Ward 1 is the same problem that Fayetteville has in general. And it's a problem that I have encountered time and time again when I have talked with people. People that have been doing business here for decades. People that have said to me, why would I want to do business in Fayetteville when I can get all the permits that I need to do a project in Rogers in 2 hours, but when I come to Fayetteville, it takes me 6 weeks or more. We need to attract businesses, but we're not going to do it by being the worst